here's the truth. I work with people all the time who tell me incredible things and then say, do you really think anyone wants to hear what I have to say? And when people say that to me, I tell them this. I spend a week at a yoga retreat center teaching storytelling to about a dozen people. The deal I have with them is this. You never have to speak if you don't want to. Come in like a mushroom, sit down and learn. No one ever does that, except for once someone did. A woman, she actually sat right next to me all week long and never said a word. On the last day of our class, a Sunday morning, people are going around and sharing stories, and my mushroom to my right finally makes a sound. She says, well, I have something, I just don't know if anyone would want to hear it. And I said, well, tell it to us and we'll decide. So this is the story she tells us. She says she was doing yoga one night till about 7 o'clock, and then she got in her car, and for the first time in a long time, she had felt peace. She had finally sort of let go of the anger and resentment inside her, and she was feeling good as she was driving home. And then this car came barreling up behind her, like tailgating her, weaving all over the road. And then all of that time she spent finding centeredness and peace in that yoga class, it was gone. Instantly, she was angry at the person behind her. And then that person flew around her, went ahead and hit a pole, wrapped the car around a telephone pole. So she pulled over. She got out of the car and she ran over and she found the driver behind the wheel very badly injured. So she called 911. Now she was up in the Berkshires in Massachusetts, sort of in the middle of nowhere. And so the 911 operator said, I need you to begin administering first aid because the ambulance is going to take a while to get there. So listening to the 911 operator, she began working on this man behind the wheel. Eventually the ambulance arrives and they take over, but the ambulance driver says, I need you to follow me to the hospital because you were with him for the first 10 minutes. The doctors might want to talk to you. She's annoyed about the whole thing, but she agrees to go. So she follows the ambulance to the hospital and she takes her place in the waiting room to see if the doctors need to talk to her. While she's waiting in the waiting room, a woman walks in, her best friend. She says, what are you doing here? And her best friend says, my husband was just in a car accident. He put his car into a telephone pole. The woman had never met her best friend's husband before. They had never encountered each other because the husband worked the night shift. And so they had never seen each other. The husband dies. That man who she treated died shortly thereafter. And her best friend says to her, I'm so glad that in my husband's final moments on this earth, he was with someone I loved. She tells us that story in that workshop, my mushroom who doesn't speak all week. And then she says to us, do you really think that's a story anyone would want to hear? At that point, we're all crying. And I can't imagine what it takes or what might have happened to this woman to think that that story doesn't want to be heard by everyone. And yet here's the truth. I work with people all the time who tell me incredible things and then say, do you really think anyone wants to hear what I have to say? And what I always tell people is this. If it means something to you, it will mean something to other people too. I think the tragedy of this world is that many of us walk through the world thinking that the moments of our lives are meaningful only to us, when the world needs to hear your stories. The world needed to hear that woman's story, and yet she sat there for a week wondering if anyone wanted to hear it. I don't want that to be the case for you. If you have something in your heart and your mind that means something to you, that touches your heart and mind in a meaningful way, I promise you other people want to hear it too. They'll even want to hear it if you tell it poorly. The right story told poorly is still a great story to tell. So ask yourself, does it mean something to me? And if it does, I promise you, it will mean something to others too.